Hey, give me just a second. Look at my truck. We're gonna go over here and take a look at what they're doing and deep dive into it a little bit. Once I get back to the truck, we'll be able to talk about it a little more in depth and in detail. But kind of want to give you guys an understanding and kind of explain some things that's going on over here. I was also trying to respectfully let these guys get out of here. I wasn't sure if they really want to be on camera or not, and I don't really care about them working. So today we're at the golf course bridge right here by Jim Davis Road. This is the one that was pretty much completely underwater. It's had a lot of issues, and they're doing some work over here. If you guys haven't seen what they're doing, this has actually changed a lot since yesterday, actually. So I actually took a look at this at the dark. So these are tubes for hydro pumps right here, which is what you might be able to hear running in the background. And you see, obviously, they've got all this kind of sculpted out, and they've got this plastic down here with this large riprap. This is 6 to 8 inch riprap. This is thick stuff a lot of the time, and so they've created a bypass channel here so they can work over here underneath. That's a what they call a double diaphragm pump. So if anybody looks at USGS data, because it's all silted in and they're doing work. What they're doing over here is they're doing something called emergency scaling work. Is the way that they described it. Let's see, they got a 265, a 210, and a 930 over here on this side. But anyway, so you can kind of see what they're doing. They're getting themselves a little platform worked out. They're digging all this out. This was significantly higher grade. And that right there, that's called a turbidity barrier. That's to kind of help stop a lot of the sediment and things running out. These big plates down here, these are called road plates. These are big steel plates designed for people to work in situations. So I just kind of want to show everybody what's going on. And also, I mean, you see, they've got the riprap here, and then they've also got that special paper underneath of it. What the reason why they're doing this is they are actually trying to prevent erosion. During this last hurricane, they had a lot of erosion problems. They had a lot of things going on that they wanted to kind of assess and take care of, and this is how they're going to take care of it. Now, this was not like this the other day. This was actually all filled in right here. It looked just like this. It was all filled in continuous. They actually had it dammed up, and those hydro pumps were actually continuing the flow from one side of the river to the other. Now we're going to go over here on the upstream side. We're going to take a look at what they got going. So this is one hydro pump. That's another one. That's another one. They've got 3 of them over here. They were using those to kind of provide flow yesterday, so it didn't get too bad. But now they've got this channel through here. They've got their plastic through here. They've got everything kind of shored up so that way it doesn't wash away, and they don't have to provide as much flow. Initially, the county wanted them to do this work with original elevation, just block it up, kind of de-water it, and then do the work, but with no headroom underneath this bridge. That's really hard to accomplish. So they sacrificed a little bit, because as you can see from up there to down here, the elevation change, it might be hard to see on camera, but it's actually pretty significantly down. And then this is even farther from that. From up there to down here, I'd say a good 3-4 feet. It's enough to give them room to work with the machines and the excavators under here. And right now is the perfect time because it's in dry season. But this is an emergency repair. You see they're doing that 6 to 8 inch riprap rock. And they're putting that paper underneath of it the entire way, because they've had issues like this before where they've had erosion issues. This is to try to protect the structural integrity of the dam. So I've had a couple people ask me about this. This is a normal process. Sometimes this happens, when they do this kind of work. So there's no reason to be alarmed or anything like that. It is a normal process, and it's something that they're doing to try to protect the public. And to answer some questions, I am in Manatee County, Florida, specifically Parrish, over here off of Golf Course Road. So just kind of give everybody, a little something to look at in case they don't want to come out here and disturb these guys. Again, like I said, I tried to wait until they left because they're actually still here working while I was here. They're not doing anything to the river or the creek itself. They're not doing anything to Gamble Creek. They're just specifically focusing on the bridge and the erosion that was caused by the recent hurricanes. So if you guys have any questions, feel free. I'm going to turn the camera around. Feel free to contact me, ParrishNewsNetwork@gmail. I'd love to hear your questions. If you have story suggestions, send them my way. I'm trying to make sure that I keep up on all the things that are going on. I'm trying to schedule meetings with some of the commissioners. I had one the other day. Wasn't really that great. I talked most of the time. He said he had a lot of stuff to tell me. There really wasn't that much said from his end. So, if you guys have anything, just give me a heads up. I appreciate it. Thank you guys. That's it for looking at the bridge portion. Now we're going to get into kind of the deep dive of the science behind some of this stuff. So let me get back to my truck. All right. Take the hotspot out so I don't break it. Okay. So now that I'm back in the truck, we're going to talk a little bit about this process. This process is a time process. It's time proven. And it takes a while to get everything done that they want to do. Oh, my door didn't shut all the way. Sorry about that. So this process takes time. They're going to be here for a little while, especially with the low height restriction. I'm assuming that they more or less got enough clearance in there to get that skid steer underneath the bridge and spread that rock out. Now them creating that channel, that is actually a really smart idea with the kind of saran wrap paper that I'm going to call it. It's just plastic, sheeting plastic. That gives the water a channel to bypass and continue flow. It is restricted flow. It is still flow. I give them props for that, actually. That's actually really freaking ingenious. And them using the sandbags to hold the front of it down and everything. Because Florida's soil is so sandy. The water moves through it so well. It is not like Georgia or North Carolina where clay up there, and that water does not like to seep through. Down here, it seeps through very well in the sand, and if they just left that with no plastic or anything, it would eventually fill in where they've dewatered it. And that's what they're going to try to do. They're going to try and keep that area that they're working in right now dewatered. It's going to be engineered to a specific code. And, obviously they're going to shoot like rough grades and everything for that process. And what they do is they dig the material out, the excess dirt material. They put that plastic down, and it's not really like a plastic. It's kind of like a Murify paper, which is a actual brand name term that is like a moisture barrier paper. And what that does is it allows, once it settles and that silt layer gets on top of it, it allows the riprap to hold that down. And when the water flows over the top of it, it creates just a smooth surface for it to just glide across. Instead, if you have a sandy bottom, it'll kind of turbulate the sand, and it'll stir it up into the water, and then it carries it on down. And that's what erosion is. It churns the water up and then carries the sand down the bank. So this process is actually really ingenious. They said that they did this, this company in specific, I actually talked to them. They said that they did this process into another bridge after Hurricane Ian. And when they checked it after this event, it literally didn't move. Like, it was solid. So this is going to shore up this bridge. It's going to give it a little bit of structural rigidity. It's going to help prevent washouts, because they're going to pile that riprap up around those pilings. And they're going to do all the way across. They're just going to section that one side off, leave that side for last, and then they're going to let the other side flood, work on that little section, and then they're going to be gone. Obviously spread that dirt back out. They may or may not reform some of the banks. He didn't really specifically say if they were going to do that or not. But hi there, how's it going? So once all of that is done, those dams that they're working off of, where they can get down there really easy and everything, those are going to be gone, and the river / creek, Gamble Creek, will have natural flow again. And hopefully when this floods again, because we all know it'll flood again, there won't be an issue with this being structurally unsound. And, obviously as the water recedes, we'll be able to drive across it. They'll do assessments, things like that. Speaking of structurally unsound, the bridge that is over there on Smyrna, that is the headwater to the Lake Manatee Dam. That bridge, according to public filings, is structurally unsound and should have a weight limit. It has been for quite some time. They, the other day, were putting a barge into Lake Manatee and floating it up underneath that bridge so that they could walk around underneath of it, get assessments, take into account, whatever kind of inspections they want to do to see what the structural integrity of it is. And then they're going to make assessments based off of that, and make decisions on what they're going to do. They placed barriers on either sides of that during Hurricane Milton, and we kept moving them, because that's what happens in Mayaca. They move when you have machines to move them. So there, I guess, according to what I'm reading, should be a weight limit on that bridge. There is not. There's not a posted weight limit. So be very careful on that bridge. That bridge has not been cleared yet, as far as what I'm hearing. There is a very big meeting that is coming up. This is super important, and I'm going to do a separate video on that, but I'm going to say it here as well. If you guys are watching this video, please, I need your help. This is super, super, super important. The meetings coming up on the 10th and 12th of December are super big meetings. They are super important meetings, guys. Please, if you have the time, take off of work. I understand Christmas is coming up and everything like that. Please, 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 take off of work. They have the call-in comments. If you don't want to take off of work, call in, take a break. Please call in and make public comments. The 10th and 12th meeting specifically of December. The reason why is because they're fixing to push through a bunch of things in District 1. That is your Rye, Rutland, Buckeye, Moxon Wallow, all of these areas that are getting highly developed in Manatee County right now. They are fixing to push a bunch of stuff this way. They are trying to cram it through before the end of the year. It is super, super, super important that you guys call and ask for a temporary moratorium on building in District 1 specifically, because of the flooding issues that are associated with the hurricane, not even a hurricane, a tropical storm Debbie, before it moved through this area. We are asking for a temporary moratorium on building in District 1 because we do not have an assessment back yet stating all of the issues and all of the facts associated with what happened with Hurricane Debbie. Tropical Storm Debbie. It was not a hurricane yet. With that being said, I would greatly appreciate anybody's help and support on this issue. I am going to do another video explaining this and explaining a couple more things in detail. I appreciate it. Thank you guys for tuning in. This is Dalton with Parrish News Network. You guys have a good rest of your day. I'm out.